morning. Welcome to the investment community worldwide, where we like to think even Jay Paulson listens to this stuff. I don't believe it, but it's always worth fantasizing about. Let's check in and see what Wall Street is doing to your money this morning. On the phone, Phillip Statler from Statler Financial Services. We're both kind of back in the saddle after a long weekend. Phillip, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well today. I've dried out. My meetings were down in Fort Lauderdale during that torrential, I'm going to say tropical storm, because we had surely 60-mile-an-hour winds, to say the least, and they pounded like for 24 to 48 hours straight. We got pounded with rain.
I didn't realize that you were going in that direction. I knew you were going to be gone for a couple, 3 days, so I was kind of halfway used to that, but I didn't realize you were going south. We were saying before we went on the phone, anytime something without a tropical storm name actually attracts national news attention for rain in Florida, you know it's bad, because up in New York where they write the national news, they figure we're used to getting wet, and you guys down Fort Lauderdale way actually made the national news at the end of last week.
I bet, because there was sand all across the road. We were staying across the street from the ocean, and man, all the sand and stuff. They were when we left Saturday morning. They were still working on cleaning up the sand.
Now you know why they're so scared of tropical storms down Miami way, don't you?
Exactly.
Absolutely. Brings us up to Monday morning here on Wall Street. Yesterday, or Friday actually, was a fairly quiet day. The Dow was up by $1.81. The S&P was up by $5.78. NASDAQ up a little under 12. It almost seemed routine. It was kind of funny after we got the inflation report. That was a pleasant surprise on Tuesday morning and had party time. Wednesday through Friday, you look at the graph across a 5-day chart on Wall Street, and we just kind of stayed up there after we kind of traded things up off of a lower than expected inflation rate, and that seemed to be all the news that really mattered last week, didn't it?
Yeah, it definitely did, Dave. Because there were some earnings that popped out, but most of it was, it's slowing down now. Again, I know we got some coming out this week when it comes to retail, but I was looking at last week return. And the Dow was up 1.6%. The S&P 500 was up 2.25%, and the Nasdaq 100 was up almost 2.25%. So everything had a pretty solid green week last week.
Absolutely, and it was almost all the strength of what happened on Tuesday, because by the time the market closed on Tuesday, it was pretty well, holding steady for the rest of the week, which really, after a market adjustment due to a positive inflation number, that's probably good news, because it kind of means traders figure that we're on the right track, and that ain't bad either. Starting our week out this morning, we've got tech news up the yin-yang. If you follow it at all, the big artificial intelligence engine is called ChatGPT, and the people that make it, the company is called OpenAI. At the start of the weekend, they canned their CEO, and he announced he was starting a competing company. Midway through the weekend, the board changed their mind and said, "Sam, you want to come back?" He told him to pound sand. You start talking about probably the buzzword of the century on publicly traded stock, and this is the primary mover of artificial intelligence software. You start kind of wondering whether this is the company that can't shoot straight, right?
Well, you got to wonder for sure. But Sam Altman has landed, though, and he landed back at Microsoft and their new AI team, which Microsoft is pretty much on the cutting edge when it comes to AI. At least the conference I was at last week, the one guy presented a little bit about AI, and it was quite interesting that Microsoft is kind of on the lead there. And if you use their Microsoft Office products, AI is gonna kind of be able to blend in there later next year.
It actually, yeah, I know it's going to integrate with Microsoft Office. So your Word documents eventually will get a fact checker from artificial intelligence on them, which kind of scares me when I'm writing ads. But their interface, they use ChatGPT as being the main engine behind their artificial intelligence search engine. I got to admit, they've got a really good interface with it. It's easy to use. I can just ask my cell phone something, and Chat GPT, basically through the person of Bing, comes back, and it's really kind of interesting. And it is the most user-friendly variance that I found of it.
Well, I think so. Now, though, I will tell you this, because at the meeting I decided to chime in and figure out how it actually started to work a little bit. And what I found was I already had a subscription. I didn't have the free service. I didn't really realize I had that. But the thing is that if you want the advanced version, their 4.0 version, and you don't have it yet, get in line, because they've basically suspended any new users right now, even though you're paying $20 a month. So I thought that was kind of interesting that that ChatGPT, they've actually got so many people wanting to get in right now that they've suspended new subscriptions on the paid service.
Well, all the grade school kids are using it to write their papers, right? It is interesting. Talking about artificial intelligence and other trendy junk that's going to be happening this week, it's silly season in the market, because these 3 days before Thanksgiving, half the traders that are out there are taking days off, and they're all going to head for the hills and the free eggnog starting early on Wednesday. So we've basically got today and tomorrow with full trading days but lighter volume. Almost nothing going on Wednesday. I was flippantly saying when we first got on the phone that if rumor comes out that Jay Paulson has the flu, all of a sudden the markets are going to tank. It doesn't take a lot to excite people, but we do have some exciting reports coming out this week. This is kind of a tale of two tech companies. Zoom is going to report, find out whether or not they've come back successfully after the pandemic. NVIDIA will be reporting their earnings to find out whether or not their hardware is continuing to sell like hotcakes on the AI boom. It's going to be kind of an interesting tech week, along with a whole pile of household names in retail.
Yeah, I'm looking at Abercrombie & Fitch, American Eagle. So we do got definitely some retail specialty shops heading this way. Best Buy reports. That's always going to be a little bit interesting. Burlington stores. So yeah, there's some stuff coming out that definitely going to give us some indications about how retail's holding up.
Oh, yeah, Kohl's and Nordstrom, too, do this week. So it should be, we pretty much have the entire range of retail reporting this week as well. It's going to be an interesting week, but a relatively quiet one this morning as traders play with rumors off of artificial intelligence, which might be fun to watch during silly season, right?
Well, yeah, because there's, like I said, it's slow starting off today, and we are in the, we're getting towards I won't say the end of earnings season, because we've got a month and a half to go almost, but we're getting to that point where it's going to start slowing down in the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely. So resetting the table this morning after let's call it an incremental trading day on Friday. We were in the green, but it was on a percentage base about as close to flat as you can get. 45 minutes before we start throwing the real money around, what are we looking at in the futures, Phillip?
A little bit of a mixed bag starting off the day. The Dow Jones Industrial 30 is down way less than 0.1%, $12.80. So not much there. The S&P 500 is up about $2. The NASDAQ 100 is up almost 0.1% at $13. So very, very small changes there. On the other side, we've got silver back down 1.8% at $23.41 an ounce. Gold down 0.7, and then crude oil bouncing back up 2.3% from its close on Friday, but still well in the range we like it to be at $77.83 a barrel right now.
I never in all my born days would see something under $78 a barrel looking good to me, but that's a fact of life these days. Overseas markets, the Asian Rim pretty much responds to our last trading day, and that means they were up incrementally. That would be the good term for it. About 0.5% or so at the close at 6 a.m. this morning. Hong Kong had a pretty good day. They were up by 1.8%. Rest of the markets between 0.01 and 0.3%. Europe is looking at our futures and going, uh-oh. A little bit of red does not help their humor, Eddie. They're down incrementally halfway through the European trading day. Getting a plan for retirement counts for a lot. These nice, relatively quiet periods of time like that we had the second half of last week probably ain't going to happen very often. That means I need a plan to make sure I can retire the way I'd hoped to. How do I find you to get that plan, Phillip?
Well, that's exactly why I designed the core retirement design to help people design the retirement they always dreamed of. Give us a call at 863-382-0037 to schedule your core retirement analysis. And then join us this weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk 730, 95.3 FM.
And back here again tomorrow morning, same time on Light FM. You have a good day, Phillip. I'll catch you in a while.
All right, man. Talk to you tomorrow.
Be well. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services, Phillip Statler. You can't see it, but you sure can feel it. The economy is...
Hey, folks, again, I want to thank you for joining us today. Hope you are off to running for this great week before Thanksgiving. And hey, get ready for Turkey Day. See you again tomorrow. Bye now.